Hey everybody, it's Seth Jones, Editor-in-Chief of Golfdom Magazine. I'm out here at Merion Golf Club with Matt Shaffer, who is the Director of Golf Course Grounds and Operations. Matt, thanks so much for taking the time to show me around and just give me the full scoop on this property.
It's nice to have you here. We're getting excited. We're close.
Yeah, it's looking good. Can you tell me about right now? We're in mid-April. What's the weather been like out here for you guys to be we're about 6 weeks out from the tournament?
That's correct. It's unseasonably cold actually, so we're taking advantage of that. We did an airification recently, pretty benign, just solid tine to greens and dry jetted them. Didn't take anything out, packed more in, hopefully to enhance the firmness of the greens. And then just dusted our fairways, didn't airify them, put 5 tons of sand onto the acre and drug it in. And then we have an area in front of the approaches where everybody turns. The fairway units, we don't stripe our fairways. They do 3-point turns in front of the approaches and then just do light and dark and alter it every other day. So consequently, we turn a lot in that area. We call those tie-ins. And we did core those out and sand them because they get severely compacted. But the weather is really cold, and it's great for root development because the tops aren't really growing yet, and we haven't really put any granular fertilizer on our greens since last September, so they're very lean. We do give them a shot of liquid every week, and we have just silly long roots in them for us, and so we're keeping our canopy infinitely higher than normal.
Great. Tell me a little bit about your roughs out here, because you were showing me some of the areas of the roughs, and there's a little bit of everything in these roughs out here. Can you kind of tell me your philosophy and how you guys manage the roughs?
Well, Merion's edgy. It'll be a totally different open, I believe. You know, we don't. I like inconsistency. You know, some people have really beautiful roughs. They're perfect, and that will not be the case here. Yeah. So. Some U.S. Opens, when you hit in the rough, it doesn't really matter where you hit it. It's always going to be a consistent, difficult shot. But at Merion, it'll be totally different. You could land in an area that's the circumference of a dining room table 7 days in a row, and you'll end up with 7 different lies, because we have every grass that'll grow here. And we even attempt to grow grass that doesn't want to grow here, like Bermuda. But we have, in our rough, we have bluegrass, and then we have the turf-type tall fescues. Most recently, we've put in about 15 tons of K31. We've already seeded some landing areas with Pancross bent. We also have Bermudas, zoysia, chewings, cheeps, hard fescue. And then our bunker banks, on the green side, we'll cut them. But on the back side, we won't cut them. We only cut them once a year. They were cut last September. And they have primarily chewings and hard, but you'll see there's zoysia in there. There's also orchard grass and quack grass, which, you know, a lot of people fret about, and that's not so much. You know, we'll even have weeds out on the course. You know, we're going to spray weeds. I wanted not to spray weeds, but you know, also I don't want anybody to get a black eye. So, but you'll see weeds. We're not. I think it'd be kind of different if somebody had to hit a shot out of a patch of white clover.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, that'd be the only people that would have that experience were people that, you know, grew up on cow pastures.
Yeah, exactly.
Which I'm not sure we really want to be known as, but.
You know, this is such a historic course. So many famous things have happened here. But as far as a recent TV tournament, this is going to be a lot of people get some exposure to this course for the first time. Can you tell me, what do you think people are going to see when they see the pros out here?
Well, if the weather is good, like high skies, low humidity, our greens get very, very firm, and they're acclimated to taking a beating. You know, I mean, we don't water very much, and we don't spray hardly at all. And you know, we do have some POA in our greens, but what happens is, you know, we do lose grass every year. I mean, I am really a quirky guy, but I mean, I love good putting surfaces. When I played a lot of golf, I didn't like to have to beat the ball through the break. So like, I just like to be able to read the break and have the ball feed to the hole. I always say a perfect green is one where you can read Titleist on the ball for the last 4 feet. You know, it just keeps rolling and rolling. So, but when you do that and you run right out on the edge, you lose grass. Yeah. I mean, it's just a rite of passage here. We lose grass, and fortunately for us, our members they understand it. I'm not positive they like it, but they enjoy the putting.
Yeah.
So when that happens, we introduce different bent grasses. We have a big nursery, and historically, it's not unusual for us to go through 8,000 to 10,000 plugs. And so consequently, big chunks of our nursery will get cleaned off from, either plugging out Poania or plugging out, once in a while we'll get some basal crown anthracnose, just spotty. And instead of spraying it, we just plug it out. And when we do that, one year it might be with 007, next year it's Tyee. Lots of the A's and G's. There's a tremendous amount. There's Providence, Dominance, there's Pencross, and they have a lot of grain, which is something that I think is lost in the game. So it's really cool here. Like, you'll see a putt, and the speed, you can see the break, and you hit it, and it'll break, a quarter of an inch to the right, and you're like, what the heck?
Yeah.
And that's grain. So that's something that I think has been lost on the game a little bit. Everybody is so fastidious with trying to get everything to stand upright and have it perfect, and I'm positive this will not be a perfect Open.
Okay, well, let's talk about some of your equipment you're running out here. What are you especially proud of, and what's in the shop?
Well, a couple things. Our equipment manager is exceptional. My staff is exceptional. That's why I can enjoy all the success that I do, because I have just a wonderful staff. And Robert Smith is a young, creative, innovative guy. And we were running John Deere 22-inch mowers on our greens, and we just weren't happy with. We loved the quality of cut. We just couldn't cut as low as we wanted to cut. So we have a mower in there that has 18-inch mowers that we got from John Deere, and I looked at those mowers and I said to Robert, I want that mower on that walker. And I said, can you do that? And he says, I can do that. So through the course of a couple weeks, he'd made a lot of modifications, cut the drums down, cut the yokes down, made some adjustments to chains, got everything warping right. And he and I came out, and I said, let's see how low you can get it to cut. And we cut it 0.62 thousandths, which Aaron, our superintendent, wasn't particularly fond of, because that pass died on us. But we had to see, if in fact we could cut as low as we wanted to cut, which we can now. So, and then another thing that I'm really proud of is over the course of many years of rolling, we've discovered that we don't get any dollar spot, to the point where, like, our greens just never got dollar spot. And we roll our approaches on the off-cut days, and right where we come to the end of the approach, where that, once again, that area was called the tie-in, it was just like a clear delineation. We would get dollar spot right to there. Okay. So then we got the idea that we were going to roll fairways, because we just had so much dollar spot. And we had to spray way more than I wanted to spray. And so I met with a lot of equipment manufacturers, and not very many of them saw the validity in that idea. And then fortunately, I ran into Sal Rizzo, who makes all our greens rollers. And Sal's he's just a different guy, very creative, very thinks outside the box. And he took up the challenge and built us 2 fairway rollers, which we immediately implemented as soon as they were done. I mean, he said, "You want to try them?" I said, "No, I want to get them."
Yeah.
So we got them last summer, and it was just amazing, the results that we saw with that. And we started to roll. We were cutting 7 days a week, which was hugely problematic. I mean, when you cut, we needed 3 fairway cutters, a fairway cleanup cutter, and then we need a tender to catch all the clippings and spread them. But when we started to roll, we only needed 2 guys out there, so the return on investment became apparent very quickly. But more importantly, right away, it's not like woof, our dollar spot went away, because there's just silly amounts of pathogen in our fairways. But right away we noticed the size of the dollar spot went from, about the size of a quarter right down to about the size of my little pinky, okay, which became less noticeable, and the severity obviously grew far less. One thing that was really amazing to us is our height of cut went down 15 thousandths, and we never changed our mowers. So, I mean, we were just compressing. We were just compressing our thatch into fairways. We do have a different approach on fairways. We don't core. And the reason we don't core our fairways is just because of the voracious amount of crabgrass and poania seed. And I didn't want to bring that up, so I buried it under sand. And then what we do is we just sand 15 tons of sand and punch it in twice a year. And then historically, we would add another maybe 4 or 5 ton applications over the course of the year. So we've effectively buried Arapahoe in crabgrass seed. So consequently, we don't use a pre-emergent in Philadelphia, which is totally unheard of. And so anyways, I'm really proud of our rollers. I'm proud of our mowers. I'm really big on quality of cut. Robert's a genius in that regard, which, that's the beginning of the whole process. If you have really good mowers that are really, really sharp, you have a whole lot less issues.
Good. Matt, changed directions a little bit from the Open. This week we just had National Golf Day, and that was on Tuesday, and you were in our nation's capital. Can you tell me about that experience? Who did you meet with? Just tell me, what was that like? I hear it's a pretty tremendous day.
It is. I mean, I had no idea. Jeff Bullock from the the GCSAA invited me to participate in that, and I had no clue, and I just thought it was critical because I think golf course superintendents are just like contractors. They're can-do people. So, I mean, I didn't really get down there for my own benefit. I'm passionate about golf course superintendents and the